The New York Giants entering the preseason had an overabundance of questions to answer during the entirety of the offseason, including a question regarding the confidence that they had in quarterback Daniel Jones and if they believed he was the future of this team. On March 7th, things became very clear when they signed Daniel Jones to a 4-year, $160 million contract to remain in New York for the next 5 seasons. 6 months later, this contract is starting to look like an absolute steal for the New York Football Giants. During Friday night's game versus the Carolina Panthers, Daniel Jones had a near perfect night and showcased why his potential is still uncapped. In this video, I'll be breaking down why I believe this game was more important than we think, but more importantly, why this Giants team has tremendous potential this season to go on a huge run, not only in the season, but maybe even in the playoffs as well. However, before we jump into the video, I need you guys to do me a huge favor and smash that like button if you haven't already done so. It helps out the channel so much you don't even understand. So let's see if we can get the video up to 500 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be covering the Giants all off season long, and I will be live streaming games, a ton of Giants games throughout the season. So if you want to watch some games with me throughout the season, make sure you guys join the family. Turn on post notifications so you're notified every time we go live for a game and every time we post a video as well. But without any further ado, let's jump right into today's video. Now, another big question coming into the offseason for the Giants was their wide receiver room. Their front office knew right from the jump that they were going to have to go out and add a ton of guys to this room to help out with their newly signed quarterback Daniel Jones, and that's pretty much exactly what they did. Signing Paris Campbell, bringing back Darius Slayton, trading for Darren Waller, and that was all amazing, but it didn't stop there. They also drafted Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. They signed Jamison Crowder, signed Cole Beasley, and UDFA Bryce Ford Wheaton, while also getting a fully healthy Sterling Shepard back into the mix, back into the lineup. And, you also have Wan'Dale Robinson as well. This wide receiver room is absolutely stacked. And let's not forget about Isaiah Hodgins, who was a guy who broke out for them last season. And from there, Khalil Pimpleton is a guy they like, David Sills, Colin Johnson. They have not only 7, 8, maybe even 9 wide receivers on this team that can produce at a very reliable level. Throughout training camp, these guys really start to flash amazing potential and building a great sense of team chemistry, and that really showed last night. Daniel Jones was a near perfect 8 of 9 passing for 69 yards and a touchdown, leading the Giants to a 21-19 victory over the Panthers. Now, I know what you guys are saying. He only played one drive. He only really did anything on one drive. How can you, put all this together and say that he led them to... Listen. He gave them the momentum to carry out this win, to continue to dominate, and they dominated throughout the first half, and they kept showing why this team is not only a good team, but they're a deep team, a hungry team. They're young, and they're ready to go right now. But Daniel Jones' first drive, that drive looked absolutely electric. This was his debut drive during the preseason, and the coaching staff didn't need to see much more after that. They knew right from there this offense was completely different from last year, and they were surrounding this team with a whole new aura going into this season. His touchdown pass covered 4 yards to Daniel Bellinger. He also hooked up 3 times with Darren Waller, the brand new tight end coming over here from Las Vegas. And that drive made me feel like this Giants team could be putting up 30, 35-point games throughout the entirety of the season. That's just how good the offense looked. In fact, the only incomplete pass from Daniel Jones was a pass that was dropped by Darren Waller. Later on, Darren Waller said that he would make that up to Daniel Jones at some point later on in the season, which is something that you want to hear out of your starting tight end. Hopefully, it's in a playoff game where they need a touchdown. But with that being said, watching this drive, I could tell the Giants were entering 2023 with a whole new energy surrounding them. A great energy, a positive energy, and just something that will help them throughout the entirety of the season. It seemed like they were just revamped, they were rejuvenated, they just looked better, looked high-spirited, high-energy, athletic. They just looked phenomenal on this first drive. However, not only did the starting team look really well connected, but the entire team looked very well connected. I mean, including the backup quarterbacks, Tyrod Taylor And Tommy DeVito looked tremendous, only throwing 6 incompletions between the two quarterbacks. I mean, that is phenomenal in a preseason game where you're going through your past the wide receivers who you might not have the greatest chemistry with, but you're going through progressions, you're in and out the game. I mean, to only miss a total of 7 passes, all 3 quarterbacks, that is tremendous. Overall, the quarterbacks combined for obviously 7 incompletions, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a QBR rating of 118.1, which is phenomenal. Daniel Jones ended with a 135.6 QBR, which is almost it's insane. That is very, very good to put it in perspective. Now we also saw just how electric Jalin Hyatt can be. He caught a 33-yard touchdown pass from Tyrod Taylor, and his speed is going to be showcased a ton this season. And I think they really found a wide receiver gem that, it took him a couple of times, took him a couple of, failed draft attempts with, maybe Kadarius Toney. We don't really know what's going on with Wan'Dale Robinson. We know he's on the PUP list right now. But it looks like Jalin Hyatt is that guy. He can come in here, be a day one contributor. And, just like I said earlier, this team has a ton of weapons, a ton of guys that come out here and just make big plays. But not only did the offense look really good, the defense actually shined as well. Now, when you look at the stats for the Carolina Panthers, all 3 Carolina Panthers quarterbacks combined for 134 passing yards, 5.7 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, with a QBR of 83.3, which is not very good at all. And then the running back room, 28 carries, 100 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. The New York defense looked tremendous. To only average 3.6 yards per carry throughout 3 running backs in Spencer Brown and Chuba Hubbard and Raheem Blackshear, that is a very stifling defense, at least a front 7, I should say. And then you look at the wide receiver room, they only had 2 wide receivers catch more than 1 pass. Shi Smith and then Javon Wims had 2 catches for 8 yards. But other than that, the secondary looked really good as well. I mean, everywhere you look, guys were making plays. Bobby Okereke, 7 tackles, 4 solo. Javarius Owens, a late-round safety they drafted, 7 tackles, 4 solos, 1 pass deflection. Darian Beavers also got into the mix. You had Kayvon Thibodeau with the sack. That was amazing to see. Deonte Banks played a pretty good game. 2 tackles for a loss for Dane Belton. A lot of these guys didn't play too much, but when they did, man, they looked good. This Giants defense looks good. This team overall looks a lot better than what we've seen in the past. So this is the start of something that could be amazing. We also saw Carter Coughlin with 2 pass deflections. Jason Pinnock, who is trying to win that starting job as safety, got a pass deflection, and Zion Gilbert got a pass deflection as well. This team looks good. This team looks improved. And I think over the next couple of weeks, we're only going to see them get better and better. And I'm excited to see how Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Jalin Hyatt, Darren Waller, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, Isaiah Hodgins, Sterling Shepard. I want to see how this offense really plays. And I think they're one of the only teams that really absolutely smashed the draft in terms of Jalin Hyatt, John Michael Schmitz, Trey Hawkins, Deonte Banks. You also got Eric Gray, who looks pretty good. Tommy DeVito looked good. I mean, they absolutely smashed this draft class. Let me know what you guys think about that last night's game. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. And if you love playing fantasy sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so many other sports, but also love being able to win money, you're going to want to stick around for this whole segment. Introducing Underdog Fantasy, the ultimate platform for fantasy sports lovers. Do you want to experience the thrill of drafting your team and competing for huge prizes? Well, look no further. With Underdog Fantasy, you get access to a wide range of fantasy sports, including football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. But here's what makes Underdog Fantasy stand out from all of those other apps. They've got quick and user-friendly drafting process, a unique and exciting game formats, fair and competitive contests for all skill levels, and attractive bonuses and promotions. Not only can you draft teams and compete with others, but you can also play a game of higher and lower, which is personally my favorite thing to do on there, but you can potentially win 20 times the money you put down. And if you use code MattyDubs when you sign up, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And what that means is basically when you deposit, let's say $100, they'll give you a free $100 to use and play with. Click the link in the description to get started, or head to the website right now to start dominating the fantasy world. And don't miss out on all the fun. Be a part of the Underdog community starting now. And don't forget, if you use code MattyDubs, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Let's get started. Get into drafts with me starting today.